Don't do that. What are you doing? That's not what I asked for. Why? I don't think, I guess. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to figure it out here. I think I got it. Good morning. Sorry. I had to keep it so I can find my information, my notes, and not drive myself crazy. But these notifications are. There we go. Hopefully this works. I don't remember why that. It worked different last time. Sorry. One day it works fine. The next day it does not. It doesn't want to show me chat. Alright, we have to do it that way. Sorry. Good morning. Welcome in. Apparently we were just winging it. I was trying to keep the notes, so that's good enough. I should have just printed it out, but Fiona the Gamer, I love your name. Good morning. Welcome. I thought I was being smart so I could, usually I print my notes out, but then I'm always stuck looking down, so I thought I could pull them up on the computer, but every time I have to switch back and forth, so. Jaso, welcome. Good morning. How are you? This is the episode 3 of the Alchemy in Motion. So I'm just giving it a couple minutes, getting my crap together, but it's just a teaching point on learning how to understand what things are. Hi, I am from India. Namaste. In India, it's night. Oh, well, good evening. Welcome. Is it Vatsisha? If I butcher your name respectfully, I don't mean to. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so yeah, we'll give it a minute, one more minute, and then we'll get started. It's still early here. It's 10 a.m., so the last 3 days I've had to do my lives later in the evening, which is usually I like to do it in the daytime like this. But my name is Isha. I like it. I really like it. Welcome in, welcome in. All right, so if you go back to my other courses, which you're more than welcome to, there's lots there. It's 4 a.m. Oh my lord. You've been up playing too many games. You look so beautiful. Thank you so much. Doing an all-nighter. Oh my lord. I used to do that when I was like 10, 20, even in my 30s. After that, I'm done. I need to sleep. Ron and Power, welcome. Good morning. Abraham, welcome. Welcome in, welcome in. So yeah, I was just talking about kind of what we're going over today. If you go back to if you go to my profile, you can see I have a few courses, and they're just conversations, but they're considered courses because they're extremely helpful. There is the Fire and Flow series that I have, and that teaches you. It's trauma, some trauma-informed healing, but it's grief, all kinds. It's just emotional regulation. Um, Understanding how to understand the information that each emotion is telling you. And then I have the next one is the grace and the grind, which allows you to understand that giving yourself grace is the easiest way to help heal through and process properly so you don't get kind of aggravated, freaking out, understanding your capacity, and not worrying about keeping up with the Joneses, just focusing on you and just you. And it works very well. Abraham, how are you? Welcome. So, and then the next one was the accountability without self punishment. So, when we start to begin, um, there comes a time in your life where you're like, uh, let's talk about the staying up late. That's a good example. You know, you're pulling all nighter, and then, you know, when you're a kid, you get in trouble by your parents. They come in and, you know, people kind of remind themselves, you know, accountability means trouble, and it kind of gets stuck there like that. Whereas really, accountability means if you pull an all nighter, you're going to be tired the next day, right? Um, and being accountable means you have to deal with it, right? But at the same time, uh, when we're taking those proactive steps to be accountable, you could say something like, you know, maybe I shouldn't pull an all nighter. I know I'm going to be extremely tired. Or you can, right? You're completely able to, but if you were doing it proactively, you'd be like, no, I don't have to, right? Vine the Prem, welcome. Good morning, welcome. Tiffany, what is yours? So yeah, and then this one is the alchemy of motion. So it's basically tying all those ones together. If you watch my posts and my stuff that come up on my social media, you'll very clearly see it tells you a story. And the idea is that when you learn to understand what these are, give yourself enough grace to process it, and then figure out what your next clear step is. Right? Get clarity. Aha! Welcome, welcome. So, and then you decide you can do it in motion. You don't have to stop. You don't have to worry about self sabotage or falling. My name? Thank you. I appreciate that. Kyra, good morning. Welcome, welcome. So, if you want, you can always go back to my profile. There's tons there. I've also finally got the backbone and all the stuff for my coaching. So, I've opened up 5 clarity sessions for a week. You can each week. So, you can go to my website and book those. My place? I'm not sure what that means. But yeah, so in this one, we're kind of breaking down each one just a little bit. We're not going too deep into each of them because you can actually go to each course before that and look at it yourself. But if we kind of break it down quickly, simple examples, things that can kind of jog your memory when those things happen, then you allow space for yourself. So, uh, fear is a mirror, right? The idea is fear isn't just something you eliminate. It affects something, reflects something back to us. So it shows us where something matters, where we feel unsafe, where growth is trying to happen. So it's often pointing to a belief, a wound, or a boundary. So let me give you an example. Someone's afraid to say what they really think at work or in a relationship. The fear might be reflecting fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of losing approval. The mirror question becomes, why does your approval feel necessary for my safety? So when you start asking those questions, it creates a safe space for you, right? It allows you the space to process it. Your place. Good night. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. And then the fear of trying something new, right? Someone wants to start a project, business, or creative work, but feels anxious. What might the fear be reflecting, right? Uh, Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being seen. Fear of being seen is actually a really big one. I was surprised at how often that one comes up. And then the mirror question. So if you're gonna to think about it and try to find what the information is trying to teach you, what story do I believe will happen if I try? Like, you're not gonna die. You're not, you know, the worst that can happen is you have to try again, right? And but that fear becomes such an explosion where it can almost put you into survival mode where you're unsure, right? Bye bye. Have a good night. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. And then these are just general questions that you can ask yourself, especially when you feel the fear creeping in. It's not an always thing, but it does happen. So, where does fear show up most in your life right now? What situation triggers you the most? What is it? What's happening around you that triggers that fear? And then what might the fear be protecting? Is it your emotions? Are you scared of being hurt? Is it a real fear? Is it something valid? Or is it something just trying to protect you? Like one of those fears when you're 5 or 6 years old, you know, that same mindset. What some of those fears when you're a kid do exactly that. Jasmine, welcome in. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. So, what might that fear be protecting? That one's kind of important because fear is meant to protect you, right? It's meant to keep you safe. It's meant to keep you from doing crazy things like jumping off bridges randomly for no reason, with no parachute and no other things. Like, it's meant to be there to actually protect you. But what happens is sometimes when we're a child and that fear gets triggered, it doesn't have to be just a child. It can be even as an adult. But a lot of times it happens when we're children, and that fear comes in and we relate it to something so extreme, and then even though it may never happen again for a long long time, when you get older, that programming, that fear trigger still stays there with you. You're so beautiful. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. So the idea, what we want to reteach ourselves and retrain our brain, is fear isn't the enemy, it's information, right? And when we let it speak to us, it really is going to tell us what we need. And when we think about it like that, here, I have another example. Let me scroll down. I put all my notes together and then I drive myself crazy because I add to them and put over here. But I can't help it because I get excited and I want to make sure that that there's enough examples that people actually understand, because it's bite-sized things and it's things that we're already doing. We're already doing these small scale on our own, even without help. But the idea is if I can teach you how to notice them, celebrate them, so you do it more, then it becomes more like breathing and less like a struggle. And then you're able to actually process as you go. And that means those emotions, those big emotions, the big triggers, the things that really kind of hold you back, don't hold you back anymore, because now you're learning how to overcome them and you're facing them. You become more empowered, more confident, more clear in your decisions. So you don't have to worry about doing bad things. You don't have to worry about, like, and bad is a quotation mark, but you don't have to worry about those things because you hold yourself um, with accountability, but with a higher expectation, uh, but on things that you absolutely have the capacity to do it every single day. Understanding that our capacity can shift at any given time, but we also know we have the absolute ability to be an angel or a beast, right? Everybody has the capacity to do either. Every single day we get up and we choose to do something. We choose to meet in the middle. We don't go either two-way out of it. We stay in our compassion and our love, and we lead a pretty balanced life. And when you do that, the emotion becomes a lot easier to regulate, and the clarity makes it a lot easier for you to go through. So, the fear of being seen, right? A really common kind of fear is the fear of being seen. We kind of talked about it for a second, but someone might have a creative idea, a project, a business, or even just something they want to say. But the moment they think about sharing it publicly, fear shows up. Um, and what is the fear actually reflecting, right? Like, why is it showing up for them? Uh, Sometimes it's fear of judgment, the fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of not being good enough, but it's almost always your own fear. It's not even something people have projected onto you. We just seem to take that on in our own struggle, right? But underneath that is often a deeper belief. Like, if people see the real me, they might not accept me. And when you when you're your most authentic self, you're then your own self. You don't have to worry about who's going to accept you or not, because we're not meant to be for everybody. We're meant to find our people. And when you hide yourself and you dim yourself down, um, the only way you're going to be rejected is that people don't actually see who you are. You're trying to fit into something else. When you just be your most authentic self, your people find you every single time. Um, so where we still tie our safety from other people's approval. That's kind of where the fear comes from, that the fear of being seen. And then we have, and when we see something clearly, the fear isn't controlling us anymore. It's teaching us something. And then the fear of change, which is something that used to be, when I was really young, I loved the fear of change. I was all over the place, adventure, adventure, adventure. And then as I got older and started to create more ties and stuff, the fear of change became an actual struggle, right? So I can relate to this a lot, but uh, yeah, someone knows their job isn't aligned anymore, or a relationship dynamic isn't healthy, or they feel pulled towards something new. And then the fear shows up. What if this is a mistake? What if I regret it? What if everything falls apart, right? It's just trying to keep you small and keep you from doing what you need to do. But the mirror question becomes, is the fear about the future or about leaving what's familiar? Because the new can be, the funny thing is, exciting, when you're excited and when you're scared, it is the same vibration. So your body literally can't tell the difference. And the only thing that changes it is your perspective. So when you can tell your brain, instead of being scared, I'm excited for this. It's literally the same feeling. Your body is not understanding the difference. The only thing is, when you change your perspective, instead of that, those butterflies and all that stuff being from fear, it turns into excitement. And then it can totally shift how you present things, how you show up in things, and it makes a big difference. And then because humans often prefer known discomfort over unknown possibility, right? The unknown is what scares everybody so much. Uh, and then this is where grace becomes important, because fear doesn't mean you're weak. Fear usually means you're standing at the edge of change. And when change starts creeping in, as scary as it gets, when you dive in and you take those moments to process and give yourself grace in the middle of it. You create this accountability, and you're able to stand with yourself, right? When you sit with yourself through the good, the bad, the ugly, you become more empowered, more confident, and you trust yourself more. You become that adult that maybe your inner child never got to have. So when you become that adult, that inner child admires you and then decides, yes, this is a really great thing. So this is where the grace in the grind comes, because this healing process is a grind, and it can be long, and it can be yucky, and it can be backflips this way, crawling through the mud. It is a whole crazy, uh, it's not linear, and it can be a whole mess. But once you start doing it, you start to come out on the other side. The amount of empowerment and compassion and creativity and your connection with source is just amazing. So allowing yourself these time to heal, and when you learn how to do it and put those tools in your tool belt, it doesn't hinder you anymore. It doesn't become this big dead in your tracks, like, how am I going to recover from this? It becomes, okay, how do I process this? Why is it feeling like this? How do I understand that? Can I give myself grace because I'm allowed to feel this way? Can I do that? And then you start looking at how you move forward, right? But the grace part of it is, most people react to fear in two ways. They avoid it, or they attack themselves for feeling it. Why are you so stupid? Why are you so scared of this? There's no reason for that. That's a complete attack. And when you do that, it immediately shuts you down and it makes you feel unsafe. And then if you're the one making your own self feel unsafe, it's so much harder to be empowered or get clear. And then you make decisions out of fear, means you didn't wait or stand with yourself long enough and give yourself the space to say, I deserve so much more than this, right? And that's what we're trying to teach. So grace means allowing the emotion without shaming yourself for it. I'm allowed to feel fear, and it's okay. But why am I feeling this fear? What is it trying to show me? Is it really something to be scared of? Like, is this life and death? Am I going to die? Even if I trip and fall in front of the whole world, maybe I'd be embarrassed a little bit or something, but am I going to die? Am I going to get over it? Have I survived every other thing that I've ever been scared of in my whole life? Have I overcame it? Yes. So it's not going to kill me. Is it going to be comfortable? No. But am I going to learn a lot? Yes. Is it going to help me move forward? Yes. When fear comes, the best thing you can do is send it in. What are you teaching me? Okay, I'm going to do it in spite of the fear. And when you do it like that, your confidence, your empowerment, your bravery, just it goes through the roof. And then your experience too, because you don't miss out. When you stay small, you're afraid to take chances. You miss out on so many learning opportunities, um, so many meetings of beautiful minds. So like, there's so many things that you miss out when you allow fear to be the winner. I'm hoping that with these and these little examples and the small things that I'm trying to talk about, um, you always win over fear. You know how to do it. You know how to pull the tools. You know how to talk about it. You know how to check in, get curious. Is that a real fear or is that something from when I was like 6? I think that's got to go, right? You can kind of, it was 2, 2, 2, 2 on the clock. Um, and that's balance. You learn to balance it, right? Eventually, at first it's scary. Yeah, it's scary. But when you take that dive and then you find that, oh my God, I really did good at this, that fear really tones down and it starts to be more empowerment. And you learn to integrate that fear. That fear is meant to keep you from jumping off bridges with no parachutes and doing stupid things that are going to kill you. Um, and sometimes it's okay to even do those. Some people do that. There's no judgment. But it's meant to keep you from doing crazy stuff that's going to kill you. But at the same time, there's so many other fears that have been kind of piled onto us. We have to sort through it to understand what is actually a necessary fear, what is actually trying to protect us, or what it is that's hindering us, right? And when you can learn to find that balance and check in with yourself and really ask those questions, get curious, and listen for the answer because your soul is always leading you to your highest, best self. And if you're willing to listen and clear away all the clutter, uh, you'll start to see those opportunities showing up for you. And it's pretty amazing when it happens. So, um, this is an example of not giving yourself grace. You know, when you start shaming yourself, and if someone feels afraid and says, I shouldn't feel this way, what's wrong with me? Other people can do this, why can't I? Right? It creates more pressure and more fear. The moment you add pressure to fear, it's just going to exponentially make that fear bigger. And we don't want to do that. The idea is I want us to start giving each other grace, giving ourselves grace first, and in turn, giving grace to people around us. So, um, so here's like kind of an example of giving yourself grace, and then you can hear the difference between the two. Okay, something here matters to me. This fear is telling me something. I'm allowed to pause and understand. It's okay to see what this fear is trying to teach me. And when we get to that space, you allow a really, really big space for yourself. You allow yourself to understand the capacity and how important this one is. Is it something that I should be thinking, or is it something I should let go? Grace gives your nervous system space to process instead of react. And then these are just some practical tools, some ways that you can kind of give yourself grace. Pause before reacting. Take a breath. Is this really how I'm feeling? Is this something from when I was a kid? Is this something from right now? Is it life and death? If you can slow down and take some breaths and think about it, then it's probably not life and death. And immediately that gives you an immediate calm. So then when you start to say, what is it I'm scared of? And you name it, right? What exactly am I afraid will happen? And then name it. Am I afraid I'm going to fall on my face and get embarrassed? Am I afraid that someone's going to not like me or say something mean to me? Say it. And what's going to happen? Because when you say it, you're like, that's what I'm afraid of. So what? Someone's going to call me a name, and then what? Is it going to break me? Is it going to hurt me? No, you're going to be like, so they call me a name, and I'm going to probably, I'm going to be kind, and I'm not going to tell them to F off today. Or maybe I will, but I'm going to try not to. Um, but you understand what it is. It's not going to hurt your feelings. It's not going to drop you dead. It just is what it is. And when you name it, it allows you to say, "Well, that's really not that big of a deal." In the everyday life and all the things going on in the world, if somebody called you a name, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. And we learn to make that mountain smaller. Instead of making a mountain out of a molehill, we're now turning that mountain into the molehill. And that's the best way we can do, right? When we name it, we reduce the power. And then separate your feeling from truth, right? Fear says, this is going to go terribly. And grace asks, is that a fact or a possibility? Yeah, things could go terribly, but am I going to live and not do anything because of that? I don't think so. Welcome in, welcome in. I see those hearts. Thank you for sharing. I don't know who it is, but I can't, my chat's not showing me. I don't know. I apologize, guys. But yeah, when we ask ourselves, is that a fact or a possibility, we really do create space for ourselves. And we allow that time to say, hey, that makes sense. And then write the fear down. And of course, I'm going to tell you something. I say write the fear down, but if you're not sure what the fear is and you're struggling and it's kind of like jumbled, don't focus so much on the writing, right? Take your Google Notes, take your voice recorder, take something out, and say what you're feeling. Blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm feeling, and I don't understand it, and blah, 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 and let it all out. Okay? Even if it's 10 minutes, just let it out and record yourself. Okay? Go back to it afterwards, because you're going to either listen to it or watch it back. Like, you'll read it back. There's going to be a lot of things you're like, well, that's just absurd. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. But when you allow yourself that time to just spew it out and not think, just say what it is, what happens is when you're trying to write it down, you get so focused on writing it properly, so focused on trying to get everything down, can't usually write as fast as you can possibly think and get it to the paper. So when you give yourself the opportunity to say it out like that and then go back and read it, what happens is you're like, oh, well, that's just absurd. No, that's funny. Oh, what's that? I didn't see that. Where'd that come from? And usually, almost every single time, if you can get back to it and find that one thing that's like, oh, where'd that come from? Then you're curious. And then if you want to journal and you want to write it down, write that one down and then ask, what does that mean? Why does that mean that to me? And then your brain is actually thinking about it. And all of the other things, it basically filters out the noise. All those things that don't matter, shoulda, woulda, coulda, all of those things. Is that mine? No, that's not mine. I know that's not mine. I know that's not mine. But this is interesting. This I haven't seen. This, why did that come out? Where'd that sentence come from? What does that mean? Right? Now you take that sentence and you start journaling and asking the question, oh, what does that actually mean? Why did that come up when I was talking about something that made me scared? How does that relate to that? And then when you start writing it down and trying to figure it out, what happens is your brain is processing the fear. And then you've given yourself grace because you're not saying, I'm an asshole, I'm stupid because I was scared, I'm all these things. You're saying, oh, that makes so much sense. If I understand what that is, now you're in curiosity. You're not shaming yourself. You're not saying, hurry up and get through this. You're saying, okay, here's the grace, here's what I understand. And if I allow myself that little bit of space, And I think about this one little thing that snuck in there that I would have never got if I'm trying to write everything down so quickly. You would have missed it because you're so focused on all the other things and you want to be perfect, especially when you're in a state of fear, right, or anxiety. You're so worried about everything being perfect, almost everything's going to screw up because that's just the way it works. And the universe is going to keep doing that because it's trying to teach you that fear is not a big deal. And when you can understand that, the only way to understand that is walking through that fire 1,000 times, right? Until you finally see, well, I didn't die that time, or that time, or that time. I didn't lose anything there. I scraped my knee a little bit, but I got over it the next day. Like these are small little things, and when we turn them into this big mountain, it becomes almost insurmountable. And that's just in our brain. Our brain can literally build our own blockages. And when the universe brings it up and when those things happen, it's not meant to punish you. It's meant to teach you every single time you've overcome it. Everyone gets stuck in that negativity. But when you give yourself enough grace to understand and feel what it feels and say, yeah, it's not that bad. I'm okay. Nothing, nobody died. I still have my job. I still have everything that's going on. I still have my family. Uh, there is really no punishment. The fear was absurd. And when you can process it like that, you're not hurting yourself. You're not saying you're stupid for being so scared. You're saying, oh, now that I see that and I see how many times I walked through it, there's really nothing to be scared of. It's such a big difference, and it empowers you and it boosts that confidence and it shows you exactly how to move through your life, and you're being kind to yourself. And in turn, because you're learning how to do that on a regular basis for yourself, obviously you're going to be kinder to other people, right? Just inherently, because when you fill your own cup and you show up and you give yourself that grace, it's just automatic that you're going to do that for everyone else around you. So, yeah, writing the fear down. Uh, but if you're not at a space where you can write it down all the time, speak it out first. Speak it. Do that process work, because to me it's going to be far more helpful when you just record yourself and then you process through what you said. Um, then you can actually pinpoint what it is you need to write down and talk about and work together with yourself. Because when you process it that way, it allows you to see the things you might not have been able to see. So don't just write it down. If you can and you know exactly what it is, go right for it. But if you don't and you're trying to process it, it's really helpful to do it that way. So, some of the questions you can ask, right? I'm afraid if I try this, I'll embarrass myself. So, if you write it down, why? Right? Like, as soon as you write down that sentence, whatever it is, and then you say, why? What will happen if I embarrass myself? What is the worst that's going to happen? The absolute worst. And then what is the absolute best? And then you start asking these questions, and what you're going to find almost every single time is the pros so much far outweigh the cons. Uh, and then it's like, just do it scared. Because when you just do it scared, the outcome is so much more beautiful than you could ever imagine. And then ask, is embarrassment survivable? Yeah. Like, is it going to kill me? No. Right? I'm going to survive. I'm going to overcome it just like I did everything else. And you're doing it with love. You're doing it with grace. You're not beating yourself up. You're almost laughing, saying, this is absurd. Of course I'm going to survive. And that's good, because that's where that empowerment, that's where that confidence comes in. Of course I'm going to survive. I survived every other one. Um, and then it turns you immediately out of that lower vibration and into a higher one and says, I'm accountable. I'm able to do this. And then it allows you to think clearly for your next possible action step, which chances are, when you give yourself that moment to get yourself out of the fear, the next action step isn't even going to be something that's scary, right? It completely gets rid of that. And that's the idea, right? So grace doesn't eliminate fear, but it gives us space to understand it. And when we understand it, it really moves us forward. It allows us the space to teach ourselves it's okay. It's not going to kill us. So then, um, sorry, I did the fear of change one. There's one little story I want to tell you. This is going into the accountability section. We're going out of grace and into the accountability, but this one is the fear of failure, and a lot of people have it. And there's many fears. I could go on all day just picking out specific fears, but these ones are pretty common. So even just talking about them, getting that kind of thought process going allows you the space to process it, and sometimes even a little bit laughable way. And just so you know, especially in the face of fear, humor is always, if you can laugh at yourself, and not laugh at yourself like, ha ha, you're an idiot. Like, laugh at yourself and say, oh, well, that wasn't very smart, but that's okay. Let's try this time, right? Learn how to say, oh, well, that was kind of absurd. Why would I think that? Ha ha. And not, you know, not start beating yourself up and saying, oh, I'm so stupid. I should have never thought that. You can really reframe things in such a simple way that you empower yourself instead of dim your light, force yourself into a box. So, the fear of failure is one of the most powerful fears people experience, right? Someone wants to start something new, a business, a creative project, direction in life. But the moment they imagine failing, the brain starts saying, what if it doesn't work? What will people think? What if I embarrass myself? Oh, this wasn't even the right one. I think I did this one already, but that's okay. Am I afraid of falling, or am I afraid of being judged if I fail? Right? It's the fear of being judged is really, really a huge thing. And when we go into when we give ourselves grace into that, and then we go into accountability, uh, it allows us to say, yeah, well, even if I do, I'm going to live and I feel okay about it. Like, it's funny that I'm so scared to do that. So let's do it anyway. And when you embolden yourself and that's the accountability part. And when you start doing that in motion, it creates a huge, huge space for you. So, often the real fear isn't failure. It's the story we imagine others telling us if we fail, telling about us if we fail. That's where accountability comes in. Instead of asking, will this work? We ask, what is the next small step I can take? We don't have to go crazy. We don't have to dive in head first. Some of us like to do that because we become accustomed to, well, if I fall, I fall. But I'd rather fall trying, right? Because I always say it's falling forward, right? Because or failing forward, even though there's no failure. Um, if things don't work, you keep going. You do something else. You pivot. But oh, that one didn't work, so let's try this, right? That's how you process. And that's how people live their life. So many live their life, trial and error. And the only difference is when we learn and we get really good at something, we're like, okay, that one really doesn't work. Every single time, that one doesn't work. And we know that one doesn't work because we did it 1,000 times. Okay, so I'm going to share with you, that's probably not the greatest idea. Can I force you to not do it? No. But if I share with you, you say, okay, why is that not a good idea? Well, this happened this time, and this time, and this time, and this time. And you can go back and say, oh, yeah, okay, none of those sounded fun, so maybe I just won't do that. There's a whole difference. You're allowing yourself to process it and say, okay, that makes sense. But then there's some people that don't learn until they have to face it, right? And I know I learned stuff the hard way many, many times, and that's okay too. But when people tell you from learned experience, you then have a whole bunch of information that you can take and process and say, is this worth it? Is it not worth it? And you're making the accountable decision for yourself, right? You're not saying, well, they said I should never do it, so I'm not going to do it. You're saying, okay, this is the information they told me. This is what I know. This is how it makes me feel. And this is the information from other research. Then you have, a full scale of kind of information that you can process and sort through. Is that my fear? Is that someone else's fear? Is that something, if I sit with this, is it going to change? Like, you have a whole array of things that you can ask questions and pull and say, well, this feels good to me. This feels okay. Maybe I don't want to do that one, but I could try this or this. And now you have a whole different stream of opportunities opening up instead of live or die, survival or fail. It's so many other opportunities that the fear starts to dissipate. And you're like, well, I could just try this, and that's not going to create that fear. And if I try this one step over or one step deeper, I can go here and here, and there's still no fear. You're opening up pathways for yourself. You're seeing the opportunities because you gave yourself the opportunity to sit with it. You gave yourself grace and you let the fear dissipate. You said, okay, if I just wait and process and understand and think about it, then I can, oh, there's this opportunity. Oh, there's that one. I could also do that. I'm not in fear. I'm not in survival. It's so much easier. All these other opportunities are there. And any one of those aren't going to open up to a failure. And if something doesn't work out perfectly, it's still, you're going to be like, it wasn't my favorite, but I could still try this or this or this, right? You're not completely shrunk down saying, I can't do it, living in anxiety, not sure what you're going to do. You're starting to empower yourself. And that one didn't kill me. So if I try this one, it's probably not going to kill me either. That fear dissipates and you don't even realize it because you're just talking to yourself. You're showing up. You're saying, okay, I didn't like that, but I didn't die. So let's get over that and see what else we can do, right? And when you start doing that, it becomes easier. It's just like another tool in the belt, right? And then, so instead of asking, will this work, what's the next step I can take? Because accountability turns fear into movement instead of paralysis. Jaso, he's so cute. Aw, thank you. That's sweet. And then I appreciate that. Where are we? And then we have accountability. So I have to go up and down for because I keep adding notes to it. But I'm trying to make these so they're pretty easy that we can little things that can be easily remembered. Because the thing is, a lot of people do this already, but they do it on such a small scale. What happens is they don't even acknowledge it. It's like, when you do something nice for someone and they're just like slough it off, like it's not a big deal. And you're like, man, if somebody did that for me, I would be so grateful. I would be so thankful. And then you think to yourself, well, why can't I do that for me? Right? It teaches you how to reframe. It's not saying never be nice to someone else, but if you would do so much better with somebody being nice to you, why don't you choose you to be nice to? Right? Put that effort into you. And when you do that, and you give yourself grace to understand that, and you're saying, what is this trying to teach me? And even when those things of resentment, fear, anxiety, all those things come up, that's what they're trying to tell you. I wish somebody would show up for me like I did them. Okay, so what is it trying to tell you? If that's what you wish, maybe you should start showing up for you like you did them. And a lot of people, it's such a simple answer, but people are like, well, why would I can't do that. That's not right. There's a million reasons why you can't, but there's also a million reasons why you can. And every single time you choose you and you sit with you and you validate those feelings, they teach you what they're trying to tell you. And it's not saying, oh, I have to sit in this and I'm a victim and all these things. It's saying, okay, if I sit with this for a few minutes and listen to what it's telling me, I actually then have the space to make a proper decision. I can say, out of all these opportunities, I now have information. I know what this is saying to me. So what is going to be my next actionable step, right? And that's what we want to go through. And the accountability, oh, hold on, my mouse went crazy. Accountability is your awareness without action keeps us stuck, right? Like that's the bottom line. Once we understand the fear, we ask, what's the next small step? It's so simple. What can I take that maybe I'm not ready to do this whole big jump yet, but what's the next small step I can take that will help empower me, help build me up, help make me feel more confident? And then maybe it's a side step over here and another one over here, and we come back to here. But by the time you get there, you've learned so much along the way, that fear just dissipates. And you learn to empower yourself. And all the things you overcome, you're like, oh, that was easy. Maybe we could just try the next time. Instead of doing all this way around, we could just go direct. Because this just took too long. And now I understand how, and I feel good. I feel confident about it. So instead of doing the roundabout and the longer way, how about we just take the next step here? And then you're getting ready to leap, right? Those steps, those baby steps just turn into bigger steps, turn into jumps, turn into leaps and bounds. And it becomes more and more possible the more confident you get, right? And because when you follow yourself with grace and integrity, inherently you're going to do that for other people. That's how you stand. That's how your soul behaves, right? Integrity, honor, loyalty. Those are things that really matter to you. So when you make your decisions, of course, that's going to be the first thing you do. But you also need to remember your first loyalty always needs to be to yourself. Because if you run on empty and if you allow fear and any of the other things to dim you down, box you in, keep you stuck, you can't help anybody. So if you really want to help people and be there for people and care for the people you care about, you got to show up for you first. And when you start thinking from that and you fill your own cup, inherently the fear just dissipates. The yeah, you start to see things like, oh, that's not even that scary. I can do this, and who cares? Even if I fail, I'm gonna learn something new, and I'm gonna learn what I don't like. And when you start understanding that it's not gonna kill you, it gets way and way easier. And then so it's what's the next small step, right? Not the whole solution, just the next step. And then the fear of speaking up. This one is a very simple one, but it's just an example. So the fear of speaking up. The next step might be like writing down what you want to say. And I'm also going to tell you when you, especially if you're fearful, anxious, angry, any of those things, writing down what you wanting to say. Just like I said, when you're spewing it to the voice recorder, do the same thing. And then when you write down what you want to say, go over it again and then go over it again. Give each, you got to do 3 drafts, especially if you're scared or you're angry or you're any of those big emotions. Okay, always go over it at least 3 times. Write it once, speak it out once, write it down, doesn't matter. Then calm down, do your thing, do something else, come back to it again, go through it and rewrite it. And then do that 3 times, because I promise you, if you go from the first one to the third one and you read them, the way it changes and the way you speak about the fear, the way you speak about the things that are bothering you, by the third thing will show you exactly how not upsetting it really truly is, right? Because for you, your brain calms down and says, well, that's actually not so scary. That's actually not so scary. And the ability to process just by doing that, writing it down, the same thing, that just rewrite the same letter, same whatever it is, 3 times. Give it 5-10 minutes, come back, because each time your brain's going to go, well, that's just absurd, that's just silly, I don't mean that, that's not okay. And when you do that and you process that and say, well, I don't mean that and that's not okay, you're telling your brain, yeah, that is absurd, it's not something that I really mean, so why would I say it, right? Why would I want somebody to say or think that? And it allows you to calm your own brain and process and be like, yeah, that's just crazy, why would I even say that? And it inherently it integrates that fear into like, I'm just being silly. So now each time when that fear comes up, the first thing that's going to happen is, okay, am I being overly fearful, or is this valid, right? Is this life or death, or do I need to check in again and do a little 3-layer taper it down, right? And when you understand, well, it's not life and death, so if I'm this upset, maybe I need to do a check-in. And when you start doing it like that, it becomes a lot easier to be accountable, right? And then having a smaller conversation first, right? Saying, good afternoon, Tommy. How are you? It's still morning here. It's only 11. How are you? I hope you're having a good day. Happy Friday. We're just talking about accountability. Well, this is the alchemy emotion, but this is the fear portion. Um, we went through the information part of it, the grace part of it, giving ourselves grace in the fear, and now it's the choosing the next step, right? The accountability. And then we tie it all together. The idea, I always talk about the tool in your tool belt. These little examples, little things that can be helpful, it's really important. And if even just one sinks in, then I've done my job. So having the small conversation first, saying, I'm not sure, I'm a little scared of this, and I'm not sure how to have this conversation. So can we start small? And if somebody cares for you, they're always going to give you that space an hour and a half to get off work, off the weekend. Oh, wow, good for you. Take it easy, work slow, take your time, enjoy this Friday. Never overwork on a Friday. And then we have practicing the conversation. Yeah, like they say fear is a mirror, but sometimes if you're scared, just literally looking at yourself in the mirror, looking at your own face, saying it, and saying it again, and saying it again, and saying it again, it becomes like almost laughable. Why was I scared in the first place, right? And not laughable in a mean way, but you get so used to saying it, you're like, oh, this is easy afterwards. And literally, that fear will dissipate. Accountability is interesting. We love it for others, but less so for ourselves. Yes, because we relate accountability to punishment, right? And that is a childhood thing, right? Well, some adult thing too, like we could consider jail and all that. But the thing is, when you're actually personally accountable and you hold yourself to your own standards, you never have to worry about the law. You never have to worry about breaking the law or this or that. You have your own you stand in your own authority and you're like morally I wouldn't want to do that. I don't believe that that's okay, and if I don't believe that's okay, that's my own personal belief. So why do I care what the cops say or what the judge says? I don't care, because I would never get there, because that's not what I believe is okay. So when you understand and get clarity on your own beliefs, being accountable is more like checking in. How does this make me feel? Do I feel safe doing this? Is this causing fear? Why is it causing fear? Because it's either causing fear because it's something programmed in the back of your head, or it's causing fear because you know you're not going to like the end result of that, right? Your body's already saying no, 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 don't do it, and that's why checking in is so important. They changed Firewatch, so I can't do any more cutting. Is it too windy? It was snowing here. We didn't get no snow all winter. It stopped now, so it doesn't matter. But this morning was a pretty heavy snowstorm, and it made me laugh quite a bit. I'm like going into spring break, and it starts to snow, and we didn't get we got almost no drops of snow all winter, and I was like, but I should have known because it's just completely stopped. It didn't even put a layer on the ground. That just makes me laugh. And then, oh, what do we have? Practicing the conversation. And then fear of starting something. This is a big one. And it's so wild to me because uh, you're not starting it in front of the whole world. You're not telling the whole world. Like my coaching stuff that I just started, I say stuff like it's a thing. I put a lot of work into it and doing the backbone and the questions, the checks and balances, because it snowed there too. Wow. When you're doing the checks and balances, you got to make sure that one, you're being able to help somebody. Two, that there's actually check-ins. Because if I just ask you if I'm helping you and you're like, yeah, you're helping me, well, that's not okay. Great, but is it helping you be empowered? Is it helping you overcome things? Is it helping you strive for that business, that goal, that whatever it is that you're trying to do? If we don't have those proper checks and balances, none of it matters. So being able to get clear and to say, uh, what is the goal that we're trying to get out of this? Now, how are we going to get there? So being able to backtrack it, but having the checks and balances and allowing the space for that, right? And giving enough time, but uh, putting that work in, right? So I did all that in the background. Just like my workshops that I created, I did all that in the background. I do these free talks on here because I think that more people need the information, and even if it's a little bit and it helps people be a little bit better, then I've won. All my paid stuff is still coming. It's still working. It's still happening. But the community involvement, the grants, the working in these bigger community patterns can help more people in one spot, and that's what I'm trying to do. So it's not always about making money. It's about doing the right thing and helping others. So the fear of starting new is what's the worst that can happen, right? And then what's the best that can happen? And when you look at it almost every single time, it's going to tell you the pros far outweigh the cons. So do it scared, do it messy, just show up. 1000%. When you start doing that, the more you start doing that, fear just evaporates. It just can't even survive there. And that is the goal. So the next step might be just research the idea. Just look it up. Just kind of say, okay, what's this mean? What's this mean? What if I tried this? How's that going to work out? Start brainstorming and researching and what is an actual step that I could take to get me to this end result, right? And then create a rough plan. That's it. You don't have to really do anything. Draw out a plan. Okay, how would I do this? And how would I do this? And if I did that, would it have to go here? The yes, no, those beautiful flow charts and all that. You can get really crazy with it. And nobody's going to know. And you're not going to hurt anybody. And you're definitely not going to hurt yourself because you're just learning. You're just taking in more information. And what happens when you do that? You get smarter. And when you get smarter, inherently you get more confident. Like it's win-win all the way around. And you don't have to show it to the world until you're 1000% confident. Even though I think it's better, you should maybe not wait that long and do it messy. Because when you get it out there and you start doing it, you start growing and you start feeling into it and growing into it a lot easier. And when you do that, you become more confident. So the longer you wait, the longer it takes to get to that stage, because everything is growth. It's learning. It's figuring it out as you go, which is a huge, huge win when you can get past the fear. So just start it. Sharing the idea with one trusted person, just one. You don't have to share it with the world just yet, right? And make sure it's a trusted person. Make sure it's somebody that actually wants to see you win. Because I lost a lot of years sharing my ideas with people that said, "Oh, it's horrible. That'll never work. That's just stupid." And that was their own filter. That was their own projection. It was their own thing. Um, Make sure you have people you can trust. Really start to understand those people. When you start checking in with yourself and being accountable in all those other ways, you start to see it in other people. You start to see, well, maybe they don't think the same way I do. Maybe those behaviors don't matter to them. Loyalty, honor, those things don't matter. Uh, you start noticing those things. And then when you have to make decisions and let things go that don't matter, it becomes a lot easier to do. You're empowering yourself, right? So, example 3, fear of boundaries. The next step might be noticing where the resentment shows up. This is a big one because resentment will creep up and you don't even know it's there. Um, and I gave an example of that already when, you do something nice for somebody and they literally, nothing is enough, or they uh, just waste it. They don't do anything with it. And then you're that thing that creeps in your mind, well, if somebody showed up for me like that, I wouldn't have wasted it. I would do this, I would do that, right? And that's a resentment. It's a form of resentment, and you don't even realize it's there. Even if it only creeps up a little bit, the universe is going to keep showing it to you and make it keep happening until you start noticing it. So the faster you notice it, the better off you're going to be. It will keep coming and it'll get harder and worse and harder and worse until you're like blowing up on somebody and you don't even know why. That resentment is because um, your body, your brain, your soul, your inner child is just waiting for you to show up for you like you show up for everybody else, right? That's where the self-love part, the grace part, that part is really, really matters. And being accountable, right? I need my boundaries. I have to put me first. For me to be at my best for you, for my children, for all of these things, um, I need to choose me first. I need to do my things first. Um, and then we can move forward and do other things. And when we start to understand that and we show up like that, being accountable becomes a whole lot easier and less fearful because we don't have to feel shameful for it. Because when we're at our best self, we're better for everybody. So it just makes sense. And then we have the fear of boundaries. Yeah. Noticing where resentment shows up. Practice saying, I need time to think about that. By the way, no is a complete sentence. And especially if you're fear of setting boundaries, fear of upholding boundaries, which is a fear of rejection and abandonment. It's many things, but those are just the more common. Um, I need time to think about it. Gives you space to process and do this whole system that I've been talking about. And you do get quicker at it, you get better. But one thing I've learned, if it's not an absolute yes, it's a no. And the reason is because if it's not an absolute yes, your body's telling you something's wrong. And it doesn't mean it's a no forever. It's just a no for right now because I need to. I need time. I need to process. I need to understand why do I feel about this way about it, right? And then we have some accountability check-in questions. These are simple. You can always journal them. They always say journaling, but I'm telling you, for me, sometimes I journal, but I do a lot more of the voice notes. I do a lot more because then I can read through it and I can process it because um, I like to write when I'm trying to remember things, right? I like to write it down. But um, when I'm trying to process and do things like that, I like to say it, get it out, and then go back and read it and understand it. And people work differently. So these are just suggestions. I don't have all the answers, but the idea is that when you start asking yourself the questions, the answers start coming. And then you start saying, well, this works every time. Oh, this worked that time and that time. And you're putting your own tools in your own tool belt. I'm just giving general suggestions that kind of help kind of get that wheel moving, right? Saying, oh, what if I tried that? It can't hurt, right? It's not ever going to hurt you. The only thing it's ever going to do is empower you and teach you something. When we ask a question and when we seek to learn something, the only thing it's ever going to do is benefit us. It's knowledge. Knowledge is power. So these are questions simple. What's the smallest step forward? What's the smallest step I could take? Is it researching? Is it laying it out? Is it writing it down and saying, okay, now I've written it down. I have to look into this, and holding yourself accountable to that. That's a small, small step, right? Is it sitting for a moment and saying, I need to sit and I need to process this? That's being accountable. That's a big part of being accountable. I need to give myself grace. Being accountable enough to understand what it is you need in that moment is a huge amount of accountability, and it's a huge space of grace, which just automatically means you're loving yourself. It's a massive act of self-love, and it's really important, and you should practice it as much as you can. And then, what action aligns with my values? Right? What are your values? What are the things that matter the most to you? Is it loyalty, integrity? Um, there's a million of them. Whatever it is, right? You're gonna have three or four that just are absolute. You know, we can't go any further if these three are not there. You know, it's I gotta go. Can't be around you. Whatever. We all have a couple. Some of us have a few. Um, but the more you know what they are, you know those are your absolute boundaries. Those are your hard no's. That's the line in the sand. Do not step past that. And when you understand that, then you start to learn what that safe space is in between. So sitting there and checking in with those things is a really important thing to do because it empowers you and it allows you to stand up for those boundaries and say, no, I'm letting you know that is the line. Do not cross it. Uh, that is a hard no. You know, I'm not even telling you to get close to that line. This is the absolute line. And if you get too close to it and you keep coming close to it, even if you don't cross it, you keep coming close and setting that, triggering that unsafety, then you got to go. And that's, you know, when you start understanding that that becomes part of the thing that creates the fear, uh, you start standing up for yourself. You become more and more empowered, and you know how to do it because you understand what your values are and what's so important to you. And then what would courage look like here? What would it look like? If I could do anything I wanted to respond to this thing, what would that look like? What would be the best situation and how would that end up? You know, journal about it. Ask. Just get curious. Daydream about it for a minute. because the flash of an answer will always come when you quiet your mind. And then these little check-ins, I like these. I do them all the time. I probably do it daily, to be honest. Few times a day, actually. At the end of each week, ask, did I avoid the fear, or did I move toward it? Right? Did I let it win, or did I advance another step in this battle? You don't have to win every single time, but even if you made another step that says, I feel a little more empowered, then you won. Just so you know, and each day you get to win a little bit more. What did I learn from this experience? Did it kill me? Did it make me stronger? Do I feel a little more confident? Do I need to do a little more research? Am I still a little unsure? That's okay. How can I fix that? What can I do to change that? What is my next actionable step? Accountability isn't punishment. It's choosing your next step. And it's understanding what it is. And it's learning when to say, okay, maybe my next step is sitting with myself for a little bit, giving myself grace so I can understand. That's accountability too. And then we get into the alchemy of motion, right? Alchemy in motion. We're doing it full stop. Once you've fought through the process and understood the background, understood all of the messy stuff, the crawling through the mud, you get to a space, and I always call it the still point. And it's in my videos there. It's in Grace and the Grind, actually, and Fire and Flow. But the still point, you get to a space where you found this solid foundation. You understand, you know how to process. There's this, like, I'm not going back in the mud anymore. I don't have to. I've got this built. This is my starting point. No matter what happens, I'm not full sabotaging anymore. I'm not giving up on myself. I'm not throwing myself away. I'm not giving in. This is my foundation. I'm solid here. So no matter where I branch out, no matter what happens, I never have to go back down here anymore. I know that this is solid. This is good, right? And that's where alchemy in motion comes. You know, you step out, right? You could pause, right? Oh, this don't feel good. I need to check in. Now, okay, what is it telling me? That's where the first pause comes. What is this telling me? Why am I angry? Why am I scared? What is the reason? How is this happening? Why is this coming? So you pause. That initial pause to get that information automatically empowers you. And if it really needs a minute, being accountable and saying straight up, I need a minute. I need to process this because I don't understand, but it doesn't feel good. And then giving yourself grace, right? That's your first accountability, is saying, okay, give myself grace. I'm allowed to feel this. Whatever this was does not feel good, and I don't want to do this anymore. So let's sit with it for a minute. Let's validate it and say, okay, am I okay now? Am I good? What's my next actionable step? You already were. You're accountable at so many stages on this. I'm just putting it like this so you understand that there are clear steps. But just the moment you pause, you've already been accountable. You've already done accountability right there when you pause to say, what is this teaching me? There's so many times you're accountable along the way. And when you start noticing it and celebrating it, you actually get really a lot better at it. And when you do that, it becomes a lot quicker. It's the pause. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, no, that doesn't make sense. That's just craziness. That's not telling me anything that I don't already know. So we're going to get rid of the noise and we're going to focus on the thing. Oh, I need to sit with that for a minute. Okay. So I'm still angry. So we're just going to wait and we're going to say, why? Why am I still angry? Oh, because I'm scared that they're going to hurt me or leave me or abandon me. Oh, okay. But is that really going to happen? Or is it going to be more likely to happen if I react in this way, right? Then you go, oh, yeah, okay. So now you gave yourself space to process it. So how is my next best step? Maybe we need to have a conversation. And maybe I'm a little scared to do it, but maybe I can say, hey, I'm a little scared, a little worried, but I really care and I want to have this conversation. Is there a time that we can do it, right? You're allowing space for it. You're doing it with fear and saying, I'm actually scared. I don't know how this is going to go, and allowing them to say, okay, it's okay, right? You didn't kill you, you didn't die, but you did that whole process, right? And then you did the next actionable step. From there, again, that process will happen. But when you learn to do it so much and understand that you already do it in small doses, if you can learn to do it in all of the steps, you don't have to get stuck. You don't have to worry about being completely extreme or going off the rails. You already know, as long as I check in, as long as I get curious, as long as I find out what the information is, as long as I validate myself and say, I'm allowed to feel what I feel, but I can't get stuck in it. So feel it, understand, process what it is. Give yourself grace. If you got to sit there and, stay quiet and have a nap or whatever you got to do, whatever you need to give yourself that space, you do it. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Okay, and that's fine. Sometimes things take longer to heal than others. But when you understand that and you give yourself that space, you allow yourself to process it, and you allow the people that care about you to understand that this is something that I need to do. I need to process this. They're gonna work with you. They're always gonna show up for you if they care. So alchemy means turning emotional awareness into growth. You don't have to stop life. You don't have to isolate. Uh, but if you do feel like you need to isolate, do it for a small time. If it starts to feel like you're wallowing or feeling heavier and heavier, then you got to reach out to someone for sure. But if you need a moment to isolate so you can process, that's okay too. So you have to trust yourself, and that takes a little bit of time, and that's okay. But keep practicing it. If things start feeling heavier, always reach out. Always reach out to someone. It's 1:11 on the clock. Never get stuck in that, and don't let the heavy uh, outweigh you ever. And then analyze forever. You don't have to do any of those things, right? You're just checking in, and it becomes a lot easier. Your body will do most of the work for you when you do that. Kay, good morning. How are you? Oh, yes, so good morning here. It's probably good afternoon there for you. How are you? I wanted to go. I'm going to see the video when I'm done here. I had to get all my other work done, but I want to go see the fish. Did you guys eat it? I would have. You'll learn to process emotions while moving forward, and that's really important. So this is the alchemy process that I talk about all the time. I'm probably never going to stop talking about it because it's so important. Um, Noticing, right? The first one is the notice. Oh, you catch, so you didn't even eat them? I'm so sad. I'm so sad. That's okay. The fish isn't sad, I'm sure. The fish are quite happy. All right, so this is the alchemy process, and now I'm going to say it like this. There's going to be times where you have to go back. Okay, notice the emotion. That's my fire and flow content, which is, it's on under courses now because I updated it, added all the information. The first one is the notice, the fire and flow. Then the second one is give yourself grace, right? Now, this may happen. You're going to notice, you're going to give yourself grace, and before you get to be accountable, you're going to have to go back and notice again. Because the information, the fire and flow, and the peeling back the layers, there's, especially when you first start, right? It's going to feel real messy at first. But when you notice, oh, I'm noticing right now. Okay, I don't like that. I don't like how that feels. Okay, so I need to give myself a little bit of capacity here. I got to give myself a little bit of space to understand that. There's the grace. That's the grace in the grind. I talk about that one. That's the second series. Um, and then you get to choose the next aligned step, and that's your accountability. And by the way, the next aligned step might be go back to the notice, right? I don't think I've given myself enough grace. Yeah, I got grace over here, but I don't know what this is trying to tell me, and I really need to understand that. And there may be, especially at the very beginning, a time where the accountability takes you right back to the notice. The accountability takes you back to the grace. There's going to be some back and forth there, okay? Because until you start to understand it and until you start practicing it, it does feel a little messy. I'm hoping that teaching you and showing these different suggestions and ways kind of help make it less messy. But you got to understand those emotions, those traumas, all those things took years and decades, your whole life to compound, to be piled on, piled over, compartmentalized, all the things. So when at first, especially if it's new to you and you don't quite understand it, uh, it's going to feel messy at first. And that's why I actually started with the counseling, um, the one-on-one counseling. And I finally got it sorted and a good backbone for all the things that we need. But I have it on my, I think it'll be in the description in here for sure, but in my, what is it called? My bio. And then you go to my website and I do 5 clarity meetings a week. So it'll be Monday through Friday. I think it's 12:30 to 1 p.m. So they're half-hour clarity check-ins to see if it aligns. So especially in the alchemy process, in the learning how to move ahead through fear, um, stepping out and doing what you need to do. Um, I really am a professional. I really am a master at it, and I've learned I overcome it very well. I know how I'm very resilient. I know how to teach you how to go back and forth. I know how to show up for you when you're struggling with it. So I put a lot of work, a lot of thought, a lot of care into it. So if that's something that you are struggling with, by all means, reach out and let's see if we can work together. If not, don't waste your time or mine, right? I'll keep that space for people that really can use it because it's not about making a ton of money. It's about actually helping people that desperately need it, especially at these times. Because when you get stuck in that cycle and that craziness, it can be really overwhelming. So dealing with somebody who knows it very well is very helpful. So that's enough about that, but it's on my website and it's in the description if you do feel called. I'm going to start putting it on all my workshops and all of these ones specifically because that process can be hard and I had to do it myself with no help. And there's many times I felt like I was slipped through the cracks and nobody cared. And it makes it a lot harder. And the goal is to make it a lot easier for people when they're struggling. So apparently I was called to really talk about it. So again, we have the notice, the emotion, that's the fire and flow, learning how to understand, peel back the layers. Then we have the give yourself grace. It's okay to feel it. It's not a bad thing. Feel it, validate it, understand it, process it. Give yourself grace. Just sit with it. Cry. Do what you got to do. And then choose your next step. Once you get rid of all that stuff and you're not doing it from a filter of fear or shame or guilt or any of those things, anger, resentment, all of those things that compound and you don't even recognize are there, then your next aligned step is going to be very clear because you're doing it out of love for yourself first and then love for everyone around you. You're asking for the highest, best good because that's who you are. That's genuinely who you are. So when that happens, of course it's going to happen. And then you're learning from the outcome. What happened from that next aligned step? Was that a good step? Oh, that was? Oh, it wasn't the greatest. Okay, back to the notice, right? Wasn't the greatest step, but what does that teach me? What emotion does that bring up? Right? Is that creating fear in me or is that empowering me? And if it's creating fear, what can I do to change that? Right? It's always getting curious, asking those questions. It's the best thing you can ever do for yourself. And then the example, and then it says, and then repeat. I put that on there because this is something that you're going to constantly do in every step in life, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things, even in full joy, right? Someone's kind to you, especially if you're not used to it. The want to push it away is, that one's coming up. It might be next week. I could be lying, but that one's coming up because that one is a really hard one, and a lot of people self-sabotage right in that space. So when you learn how to alchemize that and trust yourself, it becomes good. So this one is specifically about fear, but the cool thing is, once you learn how to kind of do it, I'm breaking this down in all of these ones for each one. And the reason I'm doing that is because um, if you actually watch my stuff and you come back to it, you're going to see, well, that's a repeat. Well, she's saying just do that and just do that. Yeah, because it's not about each one in particular. It's about learning that these steps, learning to ask questions, learning to say why with curiosity, not why are you so stupid, right? There's a big difference. When you're accountable with self-love, you're saying why does that make me feel that way? When you're punishing yourself or criticizing yourself or doing things to harm yourself or others, it's why are you so stupid? Why didn't you do that instead? Why, there's a whole different perspective and a way that can shift things in a huge way. So this is an example of alchemy in real life. Someone fears failure in a project. Instead of stopping, they acknowledge the fear, break the task into smaller steps, right? We're not going to take the huge mountain, but we can take, 3 steps up the mountain. We can pack our bag and get ready to go. And then they keep moving forward, right? Even if they got to sidestep a couple times, they understand that as long as I'm still taking steps and still trying to get there, even if it's a million baby steps, I'm going to get there. Fear becomes guidance instead of paralysis. What is it trying to show me? And if I do it anyway, where am I going to end up? 121:21 on the clock. I love that. New beginnings and balance. Balance, new beginnings. And when I tell you, that's how you become a master, right? 11 and 22. That's how you become a master. You start to master your own self. You become empowered, right? Alchemy in motion means we don't get stuck in the feeling. We listen to it, understand it, and keep moving. And then I almost forgot, but I'm not going to. I'm going to pull a self-care instead of a gratitude. And the reason is, I don't want to pull them all today, but I always pull a gratitude, the Lemuria, and an angel number, and an affirmation. Because I like when Spirit confirms my work. When they confirm and show to you that it aligns with exactly what I'm trying to teach you, it becomes a lot easier to say, oh man, that's pretty cool. Maybe I should look into that. The idea isn't to force you into doing all the work. The idea is to get you curious and let you see, oh, yeah, that does make sense. And if I try that, what could it hurt, right? The idea isn't anymore about being defensive or worried or scared. It's about, what can it hurt? Curious, right? Let's get some curiosity going instead of some punishment, more fear. We don't need any more fear. And affirming your greatness into the world. What's the worst that can happen? You become your greatest? Like, what? But if that's the worst that can happen, I'm okay with that. All right. Spirit, can I have a self-care one on this message today? Alchemy emotion, showing up scared. Whoa, this is good. What are years if not measured by trees? Reflect on markers of tangible growth in your life. How can you actually see the ways in which you've changed and all that you've done? Take a minute to honor this effort and your own power to create and transform. When you show up, when you're accountable, when you do these little check-ins, these how do I understand, how is this making me feel? Then you look back from maybe even, let's just say a month ago. Man, I would have screamed at that person. That person made me feel so scared. And instead of sitting with myself, I would have yelled at that person. I would have yelled at my kid for, I would have been so upset about it. But now I check in with myself first. Look how calm I am. And look, I did it anyway. I showed up and I did it. And look what happened. I overcame it and I won and I did a great job and everything worked out. Those are your true markers, right? Doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter the years. They're going to go by. They're going to keep going by no matter what. But when you can take those small accomplishments and feel that empowerment, they compound. The more you do them, the more they apply, and the more they just keep building and building. And you know, a lot of people have CPTSD. I'm pretty sure I had it for a very long time. I don't know. I don't think I still have it. I don't know. We'll see. But at the end of the day, when that trauma compounds, when the grief compounds, when those feelings compound, it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And then it weighs you down. But do you know that if you compound the wins, confidence gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and you start floating. You don't even got to run or fight or force up the mountain anymore. You just float right over it. Uh, and I'd rather compound amazing stories, greatness, good things, compliments, uh, confidence. Look at what I did. Look at how much I've changed. Look at what I know what I would have done a month ago, and look what I'm doing now. Right? You can actually see the growth. You can look back and go, whoa, right? And instead of just disregarding it, celebrate it. Celebrate it. Add it to your list. When all that fear and all those other things come up, what happens? Man, look how far you already came. And you did that scared, and you did that scared, and you did that scared, and look how amazing you got at it. Look at you now. I'd much rather carry that with me. Start being thankful for all the things. Celebrate yourself. Thank you for showing up for you. Look yourself in the mirror and say, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you for showing up, helping me process, and never giving up on me. Pretty wild. Vulnerability. That's what it is, right? And when you understand to be vulnerable with anybody else, first you have to be vulnerable with yourself. Also, angel number 56. Oh, I forgot. This is the very last one. Yeah, it is. I always want to do this one. Real strength, holding space, healing past wounds, accepting yourself as you are, sharing from the depths of your heart, raw truth, compassion for others, and removing your armor. Our vulnerability can be one of the greatest gifts we can share. Can also be the hardest. In our society, we're conditioned to put on a facade, to be strong even in times of difficulty. Paradoxically, being vulnerable is one of the strongest things we can be. It is easy to armor ourselves from the harsh truths that may be too painful to bring to the light of day. However, this causes greater suffering as buried pain becomes shadows. Unprocessed negative experiences can incarnate as much more troublesome traits or insecurities than their origin. When we are truly honest with ourselves in all our facets, we are vulnerable. That honesty is an important step in discovering our shadows and bringing them into light for healing. Furthermore, when we share our vulnerabilities with others, we allow them to glimpse a deeper part of ourselves. This is the fertile soil for trust. It plants the seeds for others to share the places that are most raw or tender for them. Our closest friendships can be formed in this space. The times when we feel too uncomfortable to reach out to others can be the very times we need them most. Having compassion and awareness of the struggle and disorientation, having compassion and awareness of the struggle and disorientation others may be going through is a valuable contribution to the world. Holding space where others can be vulnerable is a key element of healing work. Self-love is also connected to our ability to be vulnerable, as it allows us to be true to ourselves exactly as we are without judgment. Be vulnerable with yourself or others. It may also be time to step into the role of healer and hold space. Holding space means being fully present, without judgment, in a way that provides a safe and nurturing environment. In this place, guards can be dropped and a deeper level of awareness and relating can unfold. Enabling unconditional love and acceptance allows for vulnerabilities to be expressed, for the core of dis-ease to be discovered, and for profound healing to take place. And that vulnerability starts with you. You don't have to be vulnerable to the world. You don't have to show the whole world everything. It starts with you. When you show up for you and you allow yourself to peek in the corners, to get curious about what that fear is, what it means to you, why you're so scared of it. Um, Ask for that information and then give yourself grace. Absolutely, you're allowed to give yourself grace. I encourage it more and more and more because the more grace you give yourself, inherently, you're going to give to others. It just happens. And when you give yourself grace to feel it, to process it, to understand it, you know what else happens? Your accountable step, your next step, is going to be much clearer, it's going to be much happier, and it's going to be much more empowered. And by the way, when that happens, all those things align, the chances of it being successful also exponentially expand because you took the time, right? So those small things, those small steps, these little things that you do sometimes, if you start noticing them, celebrating them, and doing them just a little more often, you can create real, lasting, huge change in your life. And you get to lead by example because you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for the world. You're doing it for you. But when you walk in your own authority and you show up for yourself like that and you check in with yourselves, people notice. And when those people notice, they start to get curious. And maybe they'll never ask you, maybe they're shy, but they're going to watch you and they're going to pay attention and you're going to help them just by helping yourself. You don't even have to worry about showing the world. You just be you and walk in your own light. And it becomes a lot easier when you're not scared anymore. That fear dissipates and you walk with authority. The authority you've earned. Because when you go through and you process this stuff, is that the one? Okay. It says 1717, drama alert. You don't get caught up in that. Independence, purpose, solitude, growth, healing, and aspiration. Take a few deep breaths and turn your focus inward. You need time to reflect and consider your options. Rely on your inner strength and trust that you're moving in the right direction. What may seem like a pause in activity is simply a natural part of your journey. And that's 1717. So if that starts showing up all over the place, it just means pause. You know, drama alert just means you understand when to be independent. You understand what needs to be held on to, what needs to be let go of. You don't let people's thoughts or projections on you create fear. You say, no, I'm going to check in with myself and see what that means first. I'm going to see how I feel about it first. And what it just shows you how to be vulnerable. And then also you can say, well, that's not mine. I don't actually think or believe that or feel that. And when that comes up, you're like, oh, that's not mine. So where'd that come from? You don't have to search down where it came from if it's not yours. If it's not your thought, it's a projection. It happens with stereotypes, with cultures, with family. It happens. Everybody thinks you should be doing this, but that's not what you want to do, right? And that's okay. It happens all the time in the world. But when you start to understand, well, that actually doesn't scare me, and I'm not scared of that. So why is this feeling creeping in? That's what happens, because unfortunately, many people that are not self-aware don't understand that when they choose those projections or those thoughts, those ideas that they want you to do, what they do is they send that negative energy towards you. Even if it's not intended to be negative, most people don't just be like, oh, I'm going to wish the worst for you. And they don't even, maybe they're not even wishing the worst for you, but they're going to be like, oh, so one of my favorites was, she's too broken to be smart, you know. She was abused, so of course she's just angry. So she's never going to be, you know. I'm sure some of it was probably true, right? Of course, I was hurt, angry, all those things. But it became a way where people could project that, so they didn't have to listen to me. Anything I said wasn't valid. Those things happen, and people do it all the time. And I don't think that they meant that. I don't think that they were like, oh, well, she's just stupid. It was just this projection, this thought in their mind that in the back of their brain, every time they looked at me or had to listen to me, that's what their brain thought, so they didn't have to listen. Because what happens sometimes is people are like, if I have to listen to you, that means I have to feel that. And if I have to feel that, that means I have to process and understand and learn from it. Um, and when people don't want to do that and they run away from it because they're scared, which is the mirror, right? Fear is the mirror. And when they run away from that, it just keeps coming up and coming up. But while they're running away, not realizing that they're trying to hurt you, they're literally dissuading, letting you slip through the cracks, ignoring you to protect themselves. So when you start understanding that, uh, you don't feel so crazy or upset about it, and you understand that's not my feeling, that's somebody else's projection. So we're not going to hold on to that, we're going to let it go, and we're going to move forward anyway because we're not scared, right? And when you start understanding how many times when you check in, oh, that's not mine either, I don't believe that, where's that coming from, right? We don't chase down where it's coming from, we just know it's not ours, so we let it go. And then we say, well, if I'm not scared of that, that means this actionable step should be quite easy, right? So understanding that, oh, you got two. I am a light worker in disguise. I don't have to talk about it. I can just be it. All you gotta do is shine. Just be yourself. And when you show up and you check in and you do these small things, you're healing yourself. And when you heal yourself, you automatically raise the vibration of the planet. It's just inherently so. The more I honor my inner light, the more I brighten the world. I choose to shine. You every single day make a choice. Do you want to live in fear? Do you want to worry about what other people are going to think about you? Do you want to live this world relying on somebody else when you have every single tool you need already inside you? Yeah, sometimes maybe we need a little help to kind of get it out, to understand, to process because we're new at it. And it can be a lot messier when you have to do it by yourself. I know that for a fact, but it doesn't mean it's not possible, right? So the idea is if you can process a little bit at a time, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get better at it. If you need help, I have my stuff available, so go ahead and check it out. If it does resonate and you want help, I have it. If you don't, just go through and watch my videos. There's lots of good things. And if things feel heavy, processing can get heavy, don't be afraid to reach out to a loved one. Let them know you're feeling heavy. And sometimes it's okay to say, hey, you don't need to fix it either. I just feel heavy. Just sit with me. I just need somebody to sit with me while I process, not give me the answers. And sometimes that's okay too. Once you start checking in, you start to understand what you need, which means you can speak it out. You can tell people what it is, which becomes extremely helpful. So that's what I have for this. It was a really good check-in. This is a good one. Fear just means you're about to do something exciting, and when you really understand and you can process this and pull back the information, you will see that's what the end result is, because that vibration of fear is the exact same feeling as excitement. So you can go in nervous, shaking, afraid to fall, or you can say, man, I'm really excited that I get to do this instead of I have to do this and everyone's going to come at me. You're just changing the perspective. But what you're going to find is when you're excited, that feeling feels the exact same way. So would you rather be nervous, sick to your stomach because you're so scared and afraid to fail? Or would you rather be nervous and excited and bursting out of the seams because you're excited? Because you're excited to get to do this, right? It's all in how you reframe things, and you can do it. It takes a little bit of practice, but you can. So if you're someone who wants help unpacking what fear might be showing you right now, I do offer the free 30-minute clarity call. There are only 5 spots each week, and it's just a space to see if working together would actually help you move forward. I'm not trying to do something and just take your money. If it's not going to help, if it's not going to align, I don't want to do it, right? The idea is that you are empowered and you move forward with confidence and understanding exactly how to have the tools, all the tools packed in your belt, right? That's what I have for today. That was pretty good. I did it in under 2 hours, so that's good. Also, you can always go back and watch my videos. There's the Fire and Flow series, Grace in the Grind, Alchemy and Accountability Without Self-Punishment. And then these ones, episode 1, 2, this is now 3 for Alchemy and Motion. So all of those align, they will all be helpful in those things. And remember, not every step goes in the same line. So you can go here, go back there. I lay it out for you so it's a little easier to understand. But at the end of the day, you can go back and forth however you need it until you learn it, right? Until you understand it. Nisha, welcome. How are you? I'm just about to get off here. I'm done for the day. It is Friday, and I don't have to do a late night one, thank goodness, because last night, this whole week they were late because my daughter came home early, and all next week is spring break, so it's going to be hectic. New subscriber I am. Welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. And from India. Perfect. I was just ending my thing, but I'll stay for a few more minutes. Yeah, there's a few people from India. It's in the evening right now there. A few people popped in today, which is good. I'll have to go check out. What do you do on here? Like, what kind of content do you create? Because I like to support back. I always like to show up and show some love. And I'm always interested to see what everybody's doing. Yeah, 12:16 a.m. Yeah, when they stopped in earlier, they said it was pretty late. So you need to sleep. Get some sleep. I was up late too. Last night I was up till like 11:30, which doesn't seem late, but I've been going to bed early because my kiddo and fallen asleep pretty early. And now I actually have the bags under my eyes because I didn't get enough sleep because I went to bed so late. But I got used to actually getting sleep now. It's wonderful. I do tarot, but I mostly do oracle. I'm not here to tell the tea or any of those things. I read the energy, but I focus primarily on guided action steps. I do a lot of healing work. Doesn't have to be tarot, just literally clarity, talking through, understanding, actionable steps. I'm from Canada. I'm from BC. But I do tarot. I will ask questions, but only if they're about you, aligned with you, and not, trying to find the tea. Is my boyfriend coming back? Is my boyfriend cheating on me? Those kind of things. And things that are, can you tell me something about my love life? No, see, that's what I literally just said. Listen, if you have to ask a question, will your ex come back or should I move on from him? If you have to ask that, that's the whole, do you want him to come back? Like, exes are usually exes for a reason. That doesn't mean that they can't be healed or moved on. Anybody can change. But was it a healthy, stable relationship? Were things going well? Because if you guys broke up, chances are it wasn't. That doesn't mean it can never go better, but you gotta check in with yourself. Maybe that space is meant for you to do your own healing work. Well, you didn't break up because of long distance. Long distance is the circumstance, but long distance means there's not enough trust. There's not enough. There's something there. There's an insecurity there because long distance isn't the just reason, right? There's something else underneath the insecurity. Can I trust them? There's something underneath there. And because if it was just long distance, I'll tell you something, a long distance relationship is probably the safest, best he is now. So if he's become cold hearted, then why would you want to chase somebody? Why? If it's long distance and he's becoming cold hearted now, and he's far away, what do you think he's going to be like when you're here? When you're close to him? What do you think is going to be? You think he's going to be sweet as pie? The space gave you the time to see their true colors, right? You have to learn there's a reason for it. And if it's not good, it's not healthy. I don't know the person. I can't even say, you could be completely lying to me and none of that is true. But on a realistic, on a mental and physical capacity, if he's being cold-hearted, long distance, not treating you well, what do you think is going to happen if you are living together? 1:44 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. Do you think that you're going to move in and he's going to become sweet as pie? Yeah, because he wants to make sure he's still got you under his thumb. We're in no contact, but he texted. Did he text you with an apology? Do you understand? Like, did you feel good about the text message? Yeah, you're just attached to him. Yeah, so that is called codependence, and codependence is not healthy, and it's always going to hinder you. So I'm not saying that you're not going to not care about the person. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but if you feel that attached to him, maybe take that time and space for yourself. Just give yourself time, because why do you feel attached to him? Why do you feel attached to somebody that's treating you very cold or not treating you the way you deserve? Do you think the way you feel, do you think it's okay? Does he make you cry? Does he make you feel not happy? Does he make you feel bad about yourself? I'm not saying he does any of those things. I'm saying for you to check in with yourself and get curious and ask. And if he makes you feel any of those things, then why are you wanting to continue that? I'm not sure about me. Right. Well, you can't move forward because you're still stuck in that. And if it's your friends that like you, why would you want to bring your friend into it? And if your friend likes you, be honest. I don't want to get into anything because I need to heal over the ex, right? So take this time is a great thing, and it's a good thing that's long distance. You don't even got to worry about the guy showing up at your door if it's long distance. You should be very thankful. Of course you don't. That's called confusion and love. The idea of love, and let's be honest, the fear of love, the anxiety in love, the projection of what love is supposed to be on the internet, on social media, on all those things, really kind of skews what it actually is. Uh, well, the universe, I'm giving you the guidance, literally. Trust me, I've learned this every step, every way, shape, or form. But um, the universe guidance is telling you, if you have to ask the universe for guidance on whether you should stay with somebody or whether you should stick around for them, it's a no. I'm going to teach you one thing in life that will always save your ass. If it's unsure, if it's not an absolute yes, like I'm all in, that's it. I don't care how this goes. I'm so happy, excited to do this. If it's not an absolute yes, it's a no. It doesn't have to be a no forever, but it's got to be a no until I take time, process, get curious, understand. Uh, yeah, but if it's not feeling good, and if you plan to get married, so he moved away, or did you move away? I don't know how far Cyprus and India are from each other, but were you ever close together, or were you always long distance? So if he moved away in the middle of a relationship and didn't take you with him, okay, that's what I thought. That should tell you everything you need to know right there, right? It should like there's just uh, because love is love, and if you were meant to be together, then you would be together. And he would have said, "I don't want to move. Let's move together," or whatever. So take the time. Well, check in with yourself. See how you felt, and was it worth it? Was it a good relationship? And if it was so good, why would he move and not want to be with you? Yeah, I know. I've been in some shitty relationships. I can tell you. Doesn't matter how long you're together. It's not wasted time. It taught you a lot of things about yourself. And like you said, you're just attached to him. So start checking in how to not be attached and start getting attached to yourself. Start showing up for you. Start uh, when you feel sad and you miss him, cry it out. Give yourself time, and then go get a bowl of ice cream. Go, go out with some friends. Go hang out with some friends. Go to the movies. Go do something. Just learn what that becomes like an addiction, right? Codependence is literally like an addiction, and in the space of that, um, that's how abuse and toxic relationships continue. Those cycles are gross and they're so hard to overcome. And I'm not saying that he's abusive because I don't know him, but codependence is almost always going to turn into abuse. It's going to turn into the mental projection and all the things that go along with it. It's gross. I wasn't only girlfriend for him. He used to treat me like a kid. Well, if he treated you like a kid, then that doesn't seem like a good relationship. There's nothing about that that's good. Not one thing that you're telling me in this scenario sounds like, ooh, that's a relationship that I would want. So, and if you don't know what's wrong with him now, if he was treating you like a kid, that's not a relationship. That's not healthy at all in any way, shape, or form. So I wouldn't be worried about what is wrong with him. I would be happy that he's not in your area because now you get to be free and do whatever it is that you want to do. Focus on you. Build your business. Get creative. Do something fun. Empower yourself. Don't worry about him. Your true north should never be another person. I don't care who. It should never be another person. If it's not you, a place, a job, a career, your purpose, right? Your purpose can never be another human being. Well, you couldn't have been his priority if he was treating you like a kid. That's not a priority. That's a possession. There's a big difference. I'm sorry, honey. It's not that does not sound healthy to me. And if he treats you like he's like a kid, if he never stops me from anything, well, you guys have been away. He moved away. He's not treating you nice, and he's being cold. There's nothing in there that sounds healthy to me. I can't convince you. I'm not here to tell you one way or the other, but the universe is literally giving you the answer right now. Like, it's not yes or no. It's check in with yourself. What matters most to you? That's weird. He used to feed you with his hands? Why? I don't even want to know. I don't know how to help you on that. You have to make the decision if you want to help yourself. I don't. I only give my energy and time to people that are willing to actually listen. You're asking for universal advice. I'm telling you, you need to check in with yourself. Uh, if you want to book a session, you can go on my it's for empowerment, for counseling. It's a clarity session to see if it would be a right fit for you. You can go on my website, and it's to help you process emotions and all that. The first one is free, and then it is a paid package. But what I need you to understand is to any of these sessions, anything that I'm ever going to work with anybody on, you have to be willing to, like, I'm going to give you suggestions, ideas, things that are going to help empower you, but you have to be willing to do the work. You have to still check in with you. You still have to show up. You can go on my website at Creatively Guided. If you see it there, creativelyguided.ca. If you see that logo, that's my website. It's the only way you can do it. If you go in the description in my profile here, sorry. If you go in the description, you can also go there. But you need to really check in. You gotta answer some questions, and you gotta ask yourself some questions. What is it you want? I will listen to you for sure. Well, I am a designer. What do you design? It's not about listening to me. It's about taking it. It's about having a conversation where I can suggest things that are going to help empower you and help show you, but then you still have to do the work and show up. Graphic designer and video editor. Very cool. I love that. Yeah, you already have amazing things going on. Why are you going to worry about some man? No offense to the man, but when you focus on you, anyone in your life, anyone that comes into your life, anyone that's supporting you in life should be complementary to your life. It shouldn't be a necessity. It should, in any healthy relationship, he should still have his friends, and you have your own friends, and you still do your own things, and you come together and you do lots of things and wonderful things together. But you still have to have your own lives and your own empowered and with love and kindness and security and trust. Like you feel good to let them go with their friends because you know that everything's good. So those kind of things are important, and it takes time, but you have to also understand that to do that, you have to be confident 1,000% in yourself, which means you got to check in, you got to do the work, and sometimes it's gross and it's not fun, and it takes practice. But if you do it, it's really extremely empowering. So for right now, yeah, go check out on my website for sure. Go check it out. Sign up for the clarity reading. There's only 5 a week, 5 open ones a week. But if you do and you find it helpful, that's fantastic. I really do love helping people. But at the end of the day, you gotta help you. Don't ever let some person be the reason you stop doing something or you put your life on hold. You want to show you my work. Well, dude, your channel, yeah, message me for sure and show you your work. What is your work? Like what you design? Do you post it on your channel? I'll write it down. Graphics related to business. Cool. I'll message you directly. That sounds good. Do you post it on your page? 9138. I'm writing. I'll go check out your channel and stuff. You have stuff posted on your page? What time is it? I gotta pay attention or I'll be late. Yes, also I have my meme page. Okay, is it loaded on the thing? I'll go check it out as soon as I get off here. But yeah, I only do Monday to Friday, but if you go, you can absolutely, I'm sorry, I got a message. I gotta make sure. What does that say? Is that IFTL? Oh my god, I'm blind. IFTL? Is that a website or is that your other meme? Is that your other page? Is that LFTL? I'm blind, but all right, I gotta get off here because I gotta get ready to go get my daughter and a spring break. You have 3 of them? Holy moly, way to go. So why are you, good for you. That's fantastic. I have pretty eyes, and I say I'm blind because I can't read. That's my only. I can actually read, but it just made me laugh. Thank you. Uh, don't worry, I don't actually think I'm blind. It just comes with age. I should actually be wearing my glasses, but they're old and I need a new pair. So it's on the list. It is on the list. But I will go check it out. You go check out my website if you think there's lots of free healing stuff too. Go check out the content. I know you're like my mother, telling you what to do, trying to give you ideas and help you. And at least if she's empowering you, that's a really good thing. That's really sweet. All right, I have to get off here for real, or I'm gonna be late. Go get my daughter. Come to India. Someday, it's on the bucket list. I have a lot of places that I want to visit before I die, and hopefully I get to them all. So it's on the bucket list. All right, I gotta get off here. I got to go get my daughter and get ready for spring break. The next one will be, well, I'll be live tomorrow, roughly around the same time, just for an energy check in. That's the time where if you want to come ask questions, as long as it's not, is my boyfriend cheating and things like that. But if you want to ask questions about what's going on in life, if things you're working towards are going to come to pass, how to do that, that's where I can actually help you. Take care. Thank you. Nice to talk to you. Yes, have a good day. But that's when you want to stop by. That'll be tomorrow. And then next Friday will be the Alchemy Emotion portion of the kindness that breaks you open. So uh, that one's a really tough one, but it's a really good one. It's really helpful. So I love you guys. Thank you everybody for showing up. I hope you had a fantastic day and happy spring break. I hope y'all enjoy it. Take it easy and get out and relax. Do something in nature. Sit in the ground with your feet in the sand. It's a beautiful thing. Connect with nature. I love you guys and have a good day. Is it working?